Good morning, everyone. Welcome to LisaBug Yoga by the Pool. We are poolside today to work our shoulders, to release tension in the neck, in the upper traps, and all of those muscles that tend to draw our shoulders forward out of good posture. We're going to pull those back today. We'll also focus a little bit on hip flexors again from last week, just a little bit of revisiting some releasing of the fronts of the hips. I have my yoga strap and block and a little cushion to sit. So let's come down to a seated position and just get yourself nice and comfortable. And it's always wonderful at the beginning of our practice just to close our eyes and focus on the breath. In yoga, we refer to it as centering. So we bring our awareness into our own center, away from any external distractions. And also bringing our awareness to our shoulders today, our area of intention. And as you sit tall, just gently draw the shoulder blades back a little bit and sit a little bit taller. Also focus on lengthening the neck a little bit longer. With your eyes still closed, we'll start to move through some gentle motion of the neck, turning the head to the right, noticing if you feel any tension in your neck and upper traps, and then turning your head to the left. If you need to blink your eyes open, that's okay too, but sometimes with eyes closed, we can bring our awareness a little bit more inward. Just rotate from side to side. And I'd like for you to notice, is there a difference for you from one direction to the other? And then we'll bring our head back to neutral and tilt the head side to side, to the right and to the left. And these movements are really gentle, very mindful this morning as we're starting to warm up through our neck. And just check in, noticing if there's any difference between the right side and the left side. And then we'll even ourselves up, come back to that midline. Then drop the chin to your chest, lengthen the back of your neck, and curve your back like a cat. So it's nice to grab the fronts of your knees and really tuck your pelvis under so you're in a seated cat stretch. And then pull your chest forward, tip your tailbone back, lift your heart, and slightly lift your chin into seated cow. Push forward with the hands, draw the shoulder blades apart, and then pull your body forward, squeezing the shoulder blades together, opening up the chest. We'll do two more like this. Seated cat and seated cow. And one more. Then come to a neutral alignment. Start to stir the body around in a nice circle. Releasing any stress and tension in your lower back. And let that release come up into your shoulders and even into your neck. You can start to move your head a little bit here. Just really making this nice and smooth. Exhaling to come forward, inhaling to come back around. Going at any pace that suits you today. We'll pause at the center and then reverse direction. And notice your hips too here as well. Relax and soften all the muscles around the pelvis and upper thighs. And one more around this direction. Then coming to neutral. Relax and open up the chest again. Bring the arms up to goalpost, elbows slightly below those shoulders. Inhale, chest expansion, open. Exhale and close, bringing the elbows as close as you can to touch. And again, we'll open and close. So we're moving our arms along the horizontal plane, the transverse plane, through horizontal abduction and adduction. And the next time we open our arms out, we'll hold. With your palms forward, start to rotate and bring your palms to face down behind you, and then rotate back up. And just notice what your range of motion here is. Arms can be a little lower if you want to drop those elbows down. And also noticing if there's a difference between right and left sides. So sometimes if we have a shoulder injury, one arm might really rotate while the other one's a little bit less. So not forcing, but just gently moving through that range. And one more each direction, rotating down and rotating up. Inhale, we'll reach. Exhale, drop the right arm and side bend. And inhale, reach and side bend. So as you alternate sides, I want you to focus on the muscle that pulls your shoulder blade down. It's right here in the side waist and behind the body. The lat muscle, it gets fairly tight, so really stretch and open it up. That'll help you move your arms through a greater range of motion very easily. And one more each side. Then as we take this one to the right, hold and rotate to the diagonal and just hold this nice dynamic stretch. And you're reaching your arm as far away from your body as you can. And then breathe into this area where you feel the stretch. So as you inhale, expand your ribs right in that area. And that'll help you have more release there through that breath control. Then inhale, reach back up, side bend to the left, rotate on the diagonal, reach out, dynamic tension of the muscle, and then breathe into that right side rib cage. And then we'll inhale, coming back up. Exhale the arms down. Transition to hands and knees for kneeling cat and cow. Spread your fingertips wide, but slightly tuck your thumbs in so there's not a lot of tension in opening up the thumbs. We'll inhale, let the belly drop down, the tailbone lift. Exhale, curve your spine into that nice cat stretch. And as you move back and forth between these two movements, think about what your shoulder blades are doing as well. So when we drop down into cow, the shoulder blades will slightly draw in towards each other. And as we exhale into cat, separate them apart, create space there. And one more of each position. And then come back to a neutral spinal alignment. We'll lift the right arm up, stretch. And thread the needle, reaching through, relaxing that shoulder to the mat. We'll do that 3 times with the breath. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, reach through. And one more time, nice stretch. Then slide that arm through and hold your thread the needle. We'll take the left hand and reach it way up to the top of the mat, as far as you can inch your fingers to open up your lats. And then check to make sure your pelvis is in neutral, that you haven't rotated through your hips. Relax your neck. And one more breath. Press into that left hand right under your shoulder. Inhale, stretch it up. Then as you exhale, bring that arm down, but not touching the floor. Extend it straight out in front of you and send the left leg straight back for spinal balance. Now, as we hold our spinal balance, bend and straighten your back leg. So your foot is flexed. We bend the knee and straighten the leg out. This will start to lengthen your quadricep. Focusing on core control and balance here. Then bend that knee, hold, and squeeze the glute and push your foot a little higher up and then slightly down. Press it up and slightly down. Press it up and hold. You can remain just like this, or if you'd like, reach that right hand back, find your left ankle, and take this up into a kneeling half bow pose. Our desire here is to slightly release the hip flexor. So if you can't catch that ankle, no worries. The exercise is just as efficient to squeeze the glute and press that heel up to the ceiling. One more breath. Release and come back to all fours. Inhale the left arm, stretch it up. Exhale, thread the needle, just gently setting your shoulder down, and twice more with the breath. Inhale, reach. Notice your flexibility in your shoulder and chest on this side. And one more time, reach up. And reach through. We'll hold this thread the needle stretch and reach the right fingertips way up to the top of your mat. You can just crawl your fingers along the floor until you find that really generous stretch through the armpit, through the lat muscle, and through the chest. Level off your hips. We'll take one more breath. Exhale, slide the palm underneath your shoulder, push up. Inhale, reach. And then lower that arm down, but reach it straight out in front of your body. The thumb is up. The right leg goes straight back, and we find our good spinal balance here. Then we'll bend the right knee. The foot is flexed, and extend it out to straight. So when you bend the knee, try not to let the knee drop to the floor. So it stays lifted as we bend and extend. Then bend that knee, hold, flexing the foot, push it up to the sky and slightly down by connecting with your glute. Try to keep your abdominals pulled in so you're not swaying your back. Then lift up, hold, either staying right here as you are or reaching that left hand back to find the right ankle and extending up into kneeling half bow. 2 breaths here. And then we'll release, coming back to all fours. Press yourself back to extended child's pose. So really reach the fingertips long toward the top of your mat. We'll start to move through our shoulders through extension and flexion. So as you come up to your knees, shift your body over your wrists, coming either to neutral or slightly dropping your belly down into a back bend. And then press yourself back with your arms, extending into your child's pose. Draw forward, shoulders slightly over the wrists, hips can drop, heart lifts. And press back. One more time, letting the shoulders and the back be your guide as to your range of motion here. Then press back to your child's pose. Hold and stretch. And try to separate your shoulders apart from each other just a little bit more in the back side of your body. If you'd like a few more breaths here, stay in child's pose, or we'll bring this to a baby down dog. So your knees are going to be bent quite a bit. We'll tuck the toes under, push back off of the hands, and really bend your knees. I even have my belly touching the tops of my thighs. So it's really a lot like extended child, but just knees a little bit off the floor. And try to sink your heels down toward the earth, stretching the backs of the ankles into the Achilles tendons. Then from here, gently start to straighten your legs any amount by pushing the backs of your knees away from your body and dropping the heels a little deeper. We'll stay here in our down dog 3 breaths, but if you need to drop to child's pose sooner, really listen to those shoulders and feel free to exit the pose. 1 more breath. And then we'll walk our feet about halfway forward to about the center of our mat, coming into forward bend. Reach for the opposite elbows to hang in a ragdoll pose. And your knees can really be bent here to allow your upper body to fold forward and to feel heavy. Or if your hamstrings are feeling really stretchy today, go ahead and extend your legs out a little straighter and enjoy the benefit of this hamstring release. And we'll take 2 more breaths here. Then releasing those arms, bend your knees deeply, drop your hips down toward the floor, bring the hands into heart center and rise into chair pose. Really strong through the legs, the heart lifts slightly. Then sweep the arms out and up. Inhale, exhale back into your chair. 3 more with the breath. And 2. One more time, inhale. And hold your chair pose. Bring your arms to separate and come behind your body. Lift them behind you as much as you can. And then as you inhale, reach them forward and up. Exhale, sit into chair and reach your arms way behind your body. 3 more with the breath. And as you sweep those arms back, I want you to feel like you're hugging a ball behind your body. So you're lifting behind you and also pressing together, almost like you're going to clasp your hands behind your back. 1 more. Then we'll reach up, hold, press palms at heart center to Samatihi. And then step your right foot forward, your left foot back. We'll come into a warrior 1. So you'll have any distance between your feet, kind of a short stance. And then inhale, reach the arms up, just as we did in chair pose. Exhale, hinge from the hips, reach your arms behind you. This is javelin pose. And we'll inhale and exhale. So the body comes forward on a diagonal. Your spine is neutral. So be careful when you do this that you're not rounding your back and looking hunched over and curved. So really keep that neutral spine. It's more of a hinge from the hip. And one more. Hold this javelin pose. If you can, interlace your hands behind your back, or if you have access to your yoga strap right there, bring it behind your back and hold. And we can bring this deeper down into humble warrior. We're dropping the shoulder down closer to the knee, lifting the arms any amount away from the back body. Relaxing the head, neck, and shoulders. One more breath. Then lower those arms from the back body. If you have your strap, you can rest it back to the mat. Inhale to reach up. Press palms, exhale, and step the back foot forward. Good. Maybe a little shake out of those legs, then stepping the right foot back. Short stance, warrior one. Hips are squared. We'll reach and inhale. Exhale into javelin, bringing the arms way back behind the body and pressing inward. 3 more. Breathe in. And breathe out. Really being mindful of the range of motion of your shoulders and of the alignment of your spine. Last one, holding, then maybe the arms can connect, the hands can connect, or grab your strap, bring it behind your back. Lift your arms up as high as you can, and your option is to sink lower into humble warrior. Now you might have the flexibility in your shoulders once you come down to humble warrior that your arms actually use gravity over your head to increase that stretch. And one more breath here in humble warrior. Then release the hands, the yoga strap to the floor if you have it. Inhale, come back up. Palms press, exhale, and step forward, mountain pose. Inhale, sweep the arms out and up. Exhale, swan dive into forward bend. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold and step or jump your feet back to plank. Really hold a nice, strong, steady plank here. It can be from your knees or from your toes. And squeeze your elbows in toward your body, spinning your elbow creases forward, and slowly lower all the way down to your belly. Reach the arms out long in front of you for Superman. And then as you lift your chest, raise the right arm and the left leg up, contralateral raise. Then lower down. Lift the left arm and the right leg up. And just alternating sides. I'm lifting from my shoulder a little bit, but mostly from my back muscles. And on the leg, I'm lifting from the glute by squeezing the buttock and releasing the hip flexor. You can either inhale or exhale as you're coming up, whichever feels better for your body and the breath flow. Let's do one more on each side. And then make a little pillow for your forehead with your hands. You can either stack your fists or lay your forehead right down on the hands. And we'll lift both legs up off the mat and lower down. So your knees can bend a little bit, but it's not coming from the backs of the knees. It's coming from your glutes. Then if you feel comfortable, lift the upper body up as well as the legs and lower down. And I still have my hands in front of my forehead and I'm bringing my elbows up off the floor, but if you need a little assistance, you can slightly push into your hands to come up and to lower down. We'll do 2 more. And 1 more. And then slide the hands right underneath your shoulders. Press yourself up to either cat stretch or child's pose. Just take the one that's going to feel best for your lower back as a counter stretch to that back extension. Just stay there, 2 more breaths. Then bring your spine back to neutral. Tuck the toes under, lift the hips back up in your down dog. Nice and full down dog, press way off the hands. Your feet are about hips distance apart. And you can stay here in your down dog or pick your right hand up off the floor and see if you can just balance here on 3 limbs. If you feel pretty confident here, take that right hand and reach it across to your left leg anywhere. Maybe it's going to come to your knee, your shin, your ankle. And look under that left armpit. Take your gaze up. Then release that right hand back to the mat. Being aware of your shoulders now. See if you can just pick your left hand off the floor. Maybe you just do it for 1 second. If you feel pretty confident, reach that hand across any amount. Rotate and look under that arm. And then the left hand finds the mat. From here, pick your right foot off the mat. Maybe it comes off just an inch and you hold it for a second or 2. Or we can lift the leg way up in the sky and rotate the hip open, bending the knee, coming into a nice hip flexor stretch for your quadricep as well. And let your left heel really drop down to the mat. And then we'll release that right foot back down, hips distance apart. You can also come to your elbows here if wrists are getting tired or shoulders. And we'll try picking the left foot just an inch or 2 off the floor. From there, decide where you want to go with this. Lifting that leg any amount, rotating to stack your hips, bending your knee, bringing the heel to the glute. Then sink your right heel down into the earth a little deeper. 1 more breath. And then release that left leg back down to meet the right. We'll take a break for our shoulders and wrists, dropping the knees down. Take your version of child's pose. You can bring arms next to the sides of the body or extending out and just relax. One more breath. And then reach back out. Extended child's pose comes back up to a brief downward facing dog. Walk your feet back to the middle of your mat. Forward bend 1 more time, taking the elbows hang in ragdoll pose. Maybe noticing the difference our second time through this pose. Sinking a little deeper. Then release the hands, bend the knees a little bit, reverse swan dive, come all the way up, reaching through the fingertips, and press the palms together, releasing the arms down. So we are going to be moving through cow face and eagle arms. For cow face, you might like to have your yoga strap. So you can go ahead and grab that now. And then separate your feet nice and wide on your mat, turning your toes out just a little bit. Nice wide stance. Bend your knees and come into a baby goddess squat. There's a bumblebee that I think is liking my sunscreen. Okay, baby goddess squat. We'll take that yoga strap, lift the arms up, stretch, and then lower down. As the arms lift, straighten your legs, come up, lower the arms down, and sink into your squat, any amount. Do 2 more. Reach up and down. 1 more. Up and down. Reach up and hold. Use this yoga strap to help you do a side stretch. So we'll be going to the left, really stretching the side of that right side body through the armpit, through the shoulder. And then bring yourself back up, staying neutral. Let go of the strap with your left hand and bend your right elbow and let that strap slide behind your back. Now you can take your left hand and give this elbow a little push so you find a little deeper stretch here. And then take the left hand, reach behind you to your strap and walk your feet together or your hands together as closely as you can on the strap. Then sink into your goddess squat and pulse the squat. Down, down. Holding our cow face arms, building strength into the legs. 3, 2, and 1. Press up through the legs. Release the bottom arm. And then straighten that top arm. Go ahead and grab the strap on both sides. Lower the arms down as you come into your goddess squat. And reach up. And 1 more. Reach up and hold. Side bend to the right. So you're stretching the left lat. I'm gently pulling with that yoga strap to create more length. And we'll come back up to neutral. Let the strap go with your right hand, and the strap goes down the back side of your body. You can assist by pressing this elbow slightly forward or pulling it back. And then reach behind you for the strap and walk your fingertips as closely as you can. Hold, make sure your head is straight up. Sink down into your goddess squat and a small pulse with the legs. Down, halfway up. Knees are aligned and tracking over the feet. Abs are drawn in. 3, 2, 1. Press up. Release the bottom arm. Gather up the strap into both hands. Stretch. Sink into your goddess squat, lowering the arms. And 1 more time. Reach up. Sink into your squat and then hinge from the hips, setting your strap down onto the floor. Place your hands to your thighs so you have nice bent knees. Press your knees open with your hands kind of on the inside of your thighs and twist your body over to the right. Look over your shoulder. And I'm using my left hand to slightly press that left leg away and feeling a little bit of a groin stretch. Then come back through the middle. Rotate the opposite direction, pressing that knee outward. And coming back to center. Really deeply bend your knees to bring your hands to the mat, or you can place your hands on your block. So this is a standing happy baby. I have my knees bent almost 90 degrees, dropping down into the buttocks. Feeling a nice stretch through the hips, the inner thighs. And then slowly start to straighten your legs out any amount, coming into wide leg forward fold. And your feet are at a comfortable distance apart. Toes are slightly turned out. And relax your head, neck, and shoulders. One more breath. Then re-bend your knees deeply, coming into standing happy baby. Walk your hands back up to your thighs. Press yourself all the way up. And then we'll pivot the right foot out for warrior two. So that left foot is parallel with the back end of your mat. Your right foot is perpendicular. And let's reach the arms out nice and long. And as we bring our arms together, cross the right arm on top of the left, do a crisscross, and then open back out and pull your arms behind your body as much as you can. Again, with the right arm, crisscross and open out. Cross and open, then cross and hold. So you can wrap your hands around your shoulders for a little hug here, or with the right arm crisscrossed on top, you can use your left hand and pull that right arm across the body a little more, or wrap the left arm underneath the right for eagle. I want you to pull your elbows toward your back foot and then turn your head toward the front foot. So the elbows are pulling left, the head's turning right, and we'll hold this eagle. 2 more breaths. And 1 more. Bring your head back to center. Elbows back to center. Unravel the arms. Pull them back behind you as far as you can. And then place your hands on your hips. Straighten out this right leg. And prepare for triangle. Now you might need your yoga block. And if you're using it, I like to place it behind the back of the ankle I'm moving towards rather than in front. If I place it here, then my tendency is going to be to bend forward to find that block. So bring it behind, extend your arms out, reach out long, and then lower that hand. Maybe it touches the block or the shin, and then really make sure your shoulders are stacked. So we're not rounding forward here. And this top arm, I want you to move it, placing it behind your back, and then reaching it back up. So we're just using a dynamic shoulder stretch here. Revolve behind, reach it up. If it's uncomfortable for you to go behind, just bring the hand to your hip and then reach it up. 1 more. Reach it up and hold, stretch. Take your gaze up to the top hand. 1 more breath. Then lower that arm a little bit next to the side of your body. Bend your front knee. Use the strength of that leg to rise back up to warrior two. And then coming into a reverse warrior, right palm lifts, sending that arm up into a nice side extension of the spine here. 1 more breath. Back to your warrior two. Press palms at your heart center, and we'll pivot and change direction of our warrior stance. You can have your block at the ready if you know you're going to use it. That's a big reach. All right, warrior two. Let's find a really nice stance here. So back foot, that right foot is parallel to the side of your mat. Left leg is perpendicular. We have a nice bend in the knee. Really long stance. Then taking your gaze forward, crisscross your left arm over your right. Then open your arms back as far as you can. And crisscross. And open. 1 more. Then cross as much as you can above the elbows. Take either a hug here or pull this left arm across the body or wrap that arm into eagle. Your elbows point toward the back leg. The head turns over the front. Let's hold this beautiful stretch. Solid into your legs, solid into your core, and releasing tension in the upper body. One more breath. Then our gaze comes back to the front, the elbows as well. Unwrap the arms, reach behind, stretch, and then extend the arms straight out. We'll extend that leg straight for triangle. Reach out long, spiral the hand down wherever it lands, reaching that right arm way up to the ceiling, stacking the shoulders and the hips, and then we'll move through our dynamic arm exercise, bringing the hand behind the back and then reaching it up, or the hand comes to the hip and reach it up. One more time. Hold it up. Take your gaze up toward that top hand. One more breath here in Trikonasana. Then lower that arm part way, bend the knee deeply, rise back up through your warrior two. Turn the left palm, that front hand up, and come into your reverse warrior. Feel really stable in your lower body, into your feet. One more breath. And come back to warrior two. Press the palms together at your heart. Pivot both feet straight ahead. Inhale, open the arms out. Exhale, we'll do a little bit of a windmill. So I'm going to bend from the waist and reach the left hand across to the right leg. My right arm goes up, open back out, and switch to the other side. Now just notice how this feels in the shoulder of the arm that's up. Sometimes that feels a little awkward to lift that arm. So if that's the case, as you come into your windmill, put the top hand to your hip and rotate across. With the breath, we're exhaling as we reach, inhaling to rise. This exercise is strengthening our hamstrings and our glutes as we're doing this nice forward bend and rising up. Also strengthening through the back side of the body, through the obliques, through the QL muscle. And the next time we go to the right side, let's hold it here. So a block also comes in handy for this stretch, supporting yourself. The top arm can be lifted, or you can wrap it behind your back, or just place it at your hip. On your next inhale, rise up and open out. Exhale, reaching across the other direction to hold the stretch. So we're twisting through the spine as much as you feel comfortable, stretching through the hamstrings, bracing the core and breathing. On your next inhale, rise up. And then press palms together. Exhale. Turn back toward the top of your mat, bringing your hands to the floor, and step back into your downward facing dog or child's pose. Just recheck in with your shoulders, noticing how they're feeling this morning. Your hip flexors as well. And then we are going to come into a nice deep stretch for the hips. So lift your right leg up nice and high and take a step forward toward the upper right corner of your mat. So you're going to come outside of your right hand to step that foot way out in front of you. So I have both hands in the middle to support my body. Drop your back knee down to the floor. It might feel more comfortable for you to have a block under your hands. Or if you feel comfortable going lower, you can drop your elbows down to your block or to the mat. So making sure your back knee is way behind your hips. So I don't want it to look like this, where your bum's up in the air and your hip is over your knee. Drop your hips down. You can even tuck your back toes under to lift your knee off the floor and inch it further back. And really drop that left hip down. So either remaining with the back knee on the ground, or we can tuck the back toes and lift the back knee up off the floor. And then use the strength of your legs to hold this pose and to take a half bind. So with the half bind, your opposite hand, the left hand, is going to wrap behind your back. Then maybe you can take your right hand off the floor, or you can reach it underneath your leg and bind your hands together. So a lot of options here of varying difficulty. So take the one that works best for you. We'll hold it one more breath. Then releasing, press the hands back into the mat. Step back to your down dog or to your child's pose. If you choose down dog, pedal out your feet a little bit or move your hips from side to side. And then we'll work that on the other side. So lift the left leg high, step it outside of the left wrist, way up to the top of your mat. Now, if you can only get your foot this far, grab your ankle with your hand and keep walking it forward so you can get it way out in front of you. And then just check in on this side. Do you need your block? Can you come down to your elbows? And let's drop the back knee down to the mat and make sure that knee is way behind the hip there. So find the spot that works good for you, holding this stretch. And notice where you're feeling tension being released here. And just even soften deeper through those areas. And you can remain exactly as you are. You can come up and tuck the back toes under to lift the knee up off the mat. Then use your legs nice and strong. A half bind, the right hand comes behind your back. If you have that and can lift your left hand off the floor, great. Find your balance. Maybe you can wrap it underneath and bind your hands together. 2 breaths. Release, bringing the hands back down. Push back to one more down dog of the morning or child's pose and pedal out those feet a little bit. And then we'll transition back to an easy seated pose, dropping the knees down. And have your yoga strap available for you. Sitting tall, just check in, notice how your body's feeling. Lengthen your spine. Simply draw those shoulder blades back to create a better posture. Then we'll keep this right knee bent and bring the left leg to plant the foot onto the floor. So I have the knee open, the left foot is planted, and this foot can be anywhere on the floor that feels comfortable for you. Reach the right hand across the left knee, or you can hug it in. Left hand reaches behind you, create a nice long spine, and twist, looking over your left shoulder. And coming back to neutral, take your right hand and just put it on top of your left foot. Now you might be able to grab the outside edge of your foot and pick your leg up off the floor. If this is feeling difficult, that's where your yoga strap is going to come in handy. So you can wrap it around your foot and pick your leg up and hold it up with that yoga strap. Now, our goal is going to be to try to straighten out this leg as much as possible and pull it across the body. And this is going to release the hip flexor, or sorry, the outer part of the hip, the IT band. And then open up your left arm and twist and try to point your fingers way back behind you. Sit up a little taller. Breathe a little deeper. 2 more breaths. And then bring that hand back to center. Rebend the knee, releasing the foot. And then we'll extend that leg straight forward. Slide the arch of your right foot into the instep of your left. Reach for the yoga strap, stretch up, inhale. Exhale, fold over that foot until you can loop the strap underneath the ball of the foot. Give it a pull, really stretch and draw yourself forward. And try to relax the hip on that right leg, allowing your knee to open as much as you feel comfortable. You can bend the left knee for tight hamstring. We'll take 2 more breaths here. And slowly rise up, releasing your strap. And then we'll switch the feet. So your left knee bends kind of underneath your body. The right foot is flat and planted in front of you. We'll hug this knee into the chest or bring the arm across. Right hand behind you, sit tall. And a gentle twist. Really rotate through your neck. Find your maximum range of motion there. Comfortable range of motion. And then come back to the center. Your left hand grabs the outside of your foot. If you can pick it up and straighten it out, then you don't need your strap. Otherwise, grab that strap, loop it under your foot till you can get your leg to straighten out. So we want it as straight as possible and lift it as much as possible before we pull it across the body to find that IT band stretch. And then the right hand can open and look behind. So you're using the strength of your left arm to pull that right leg across your body, the strength of your core to sit up as tall as you can. And 1 more breath here. And come back to center. Rebend that knee and come into your Janu Shirsasana, our forward fold with the knee bent. Reach for the yoga strap, stretch up, inhale. Exhale, reach it forward, loop it over the bottom of the foot, give it a pull toward you to flex the ankle and stretch forward. About 20 seconds holding, just breathing slowly. And really mindful of what you're feeling in your body today. Two more breaths. Can you sink a little deeper? Then release the strap. Rise yourself up. Both legs are extended straight out in front of you. We're going to do a dynamic forward fold. So with each breath, try to go a little further, hinging from the hips. Inhale to reach. Exhale to extend. And again, inhale to reach. Lead with your belly. Exhale to extend. 2 more. And 1 more. We'll hold on this last one. If you need that yoga strap, go ahead and place it under the bottom of both feet. Give it a pull and send yourself over your legs as deeply as you can. One more breath. And then inhale, reach those arms up, stretch. Exhale, lowering them by your side. And we are going to do a reverse plank. So I'm going to turn sideways here. So starting with your legs extended straight out in front of you, walk your hands back behind your body. And you can turn your hands any way you want to turn them. So your fingers can point away from you, they can point toward you, or halfway in between. And your first level is just to roll your shoulder blades back and lift your heart up to the ceiling without lifting your seat off the floor. So we're creating a nice stretch through the chest and the front of the shoulders. If you'd like to go a little further, bend one knee, put it to the floor, and lift your hips up and press down into that bent knee foot to help you rise. Then we'll lower down on that side and switch feet, bending the left knee, pressing your foot into the mat. Come up. Notice the stretch you're getting in the front of the shoulders here. Make sure that feels okay for your body. And then lower down. Next option is to bend both knees, feet flat, as we lift up any amount. Doesn't have to be big. I want you to really concentrate on shoulder, staying safe in your body, and come down. Our last level is to straighten both legs completely out. Keep those legs straight. As we lift up, try to point your big toes down to the floor. 2 breaths in any of these variations. And lower those hips down. Let's take one more forward fold. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale to reach, relaxing through those shoulders. And then roll the spine up to restack the spine. Come into a strong Dandasana. So I just have my arms next to the sides of my body, pulling the shoulder blades back. The thighs are active, the toes are pulled up. One more vigorous pose here. Pulling the abdominals in. And then relax. And recrossing the ankles, come back into your simple cross-leg pose. We'll come back where we began our class today, in the seated position with one more round of seated cat and cow. So hands are on your knees. Push and round your back, dropping your chin to your chest. Tuck your tailbone under. And then gliding the opposite way, let your belly shine forward. Lift your heart, pull your shoulder blades back. And again, cat and cow. One more time each pose. Then find a perfectly neutral spine. Close your eyes. Place your palms at heart center. Allow your thumbs to touch your sternum. And bring your awareness today to someone or something in your life you're especially grateful for in this moment. And the gratitude that resides within my heart honors the gratitude in the hearts of each and every one of you. Namaste. Namaste in the backyard. Chris and Melissa, thank you so much for joining me here live. Thank you, everybody, for joining me online. I'm going to run inside the house to my other device and say hello to those of you that are staying on with me for a little chat. And weather's looking good for backyard boot camp. So if anybody wants to come join me tomorrow, send me a little message and come on over and exercise by the pool. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, ladies.
could hear that sigh.